So today we're going to talk about mixing and mastering. What is mixing? What is mastering? When do you stop mixing and start mastering your track?
True Sound Studios is in your ears.
Hey guys, what is up? I'm Weezna, and as always we are here at my studio, True Sound Studios, and today we get to talk about what is mixing and what is mastering. So as these social media accounts grow, I get asked a lot more questions on, what is mixing and what is mastering, and then I also get a lot of clients who want a mix and also want a master. So fairly recently, I've been releasing videos on Instagram of me mixing tracks and mastering tracks. Because of these videos, I've been getting a lot of questions from artists who want their tracks either mixed or mastered, and I've just noticed a huge amount of misconception of what mixing is and what mastering is. Okay, so first let's start with mixing. So mixing is balancing each and every individual track to make up the entire mix. So let's say, for example, we have a track with a female vocalist on the chorus, a rapper on the verses, and just a single stereo beat. So the beat or the music has already been mixed down because it's a stereo file. It's really often kind of how a lot of these tracks get sent to me, which is fine. Obviously we can't change the mix of the music of the beat, but obviously we can blend the vocals into that track to really make it sound good. Okay, so we have our stereo beat, and then we have the chorus vocals. We have the female vocal, the singer, and then she's got a double, and then she does maybe 2 tracks of harmonies, and then she has an ad-lib track, and then we have the rapper's main vocal and maybe a double of that vocal, and then maybe another double just on the ending lines, and then maybe he has an ad-lib track. And so let's say in the end we have about 15 or 20 tracks between the beat and all the vocals. So it is my job, or whoever is mixing the track, to find that great blend between all those vocals and the beat. So that means adding maybe EQ and compression and maybe some reverb to the singer's main vocal, and maybe processing the backups differently, and her ad-lib maybe has an effect on it. And then maybe the rapper's main vocal, we want really solid down the center of the track, and the doubles are left and right, and we have to blend all these together and find that perfect magical mix or blend of all those each individual tracks to make up our mix or our track that sounds really good to not only to me, the engineer, but also to the client. So after myself and the client are happy with the mix of everything, essentially the track is done. There's no adjustments of vocal levels or effects. Everybody is happy. That is when the mix is done. So we take the mix and then we do a mix down. So we take all those 15, 20 tracks and we mix it down to a single stereo file. And now this is where mastering comes in. I like to think of mastering as really a way to just overall adjust maybe the brightness of the track, how much low end of the track, and really kind of most importantly probably to the client is how loud that track is going to be in the end. In this modern world of music, I see far less albums and way more singles, so mastering in my eyes has kind of changed because no longer is the job of trying to make multiple songs sound like they came from the same album. Now it's more like taking a single song, a single mix, and just really trying to make it stand out and sound as good as humanly possible when it is presented to the world. So typically when I master a track, I'm really kind of focusing on the brightness of the track, trying to make it bright but not brittle or abrasive, adjusting the low end to make sure that it's still bassy depending on the genre of music, but it's not too over bassy or way too punchy in the low end. I'm obviously trying to make the track as loud as possible, but I don't want to destroy, all the dynamics that we work so hard on when it came to mixing. Another thing I do in mastering is I trim the beginning and the end of the track so that the track starts exactly where it should, and if it has some sort of fade at the end, we make sure the track ends at the last possible second. When your track gets to mastering, it should be exactly the way you want. The mastering engineer should just take your track, from a 98% perfect to a 100%. Okay, so just to recap, mixing is where we take all the individual tracks and add all the EQ and compression to those individual tracks to essentially make the song done. We really need to think of the mixing process as making the track exactly the way we want. When the mix is done, everybody should be really satisfied with the track. There should be no expectations that the track is going to get better when it gets to mastering. So with that said, mastering is really where we take the track and make it as loud as possible without destroying the mix by crushing all the dynamics, and maybe adding a little bit more punch to the track if it's needed, and really just kind of balancing all the frequencies. And it's another opportunity for maybe another person to listen to your track and just try to get it to make it sound as good as humanly possible. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and read you a few questions that I pretty much always get asked, and hopefully this will just help solve any more questions that you have. Number one, why not do mastering in mixing? Why can't you just do loud mixes? So that's a really, really good question. So the reason that I like to take the mix and make it perfect and really focus on getting all the individual tracks to be as perfect as possible is because when the mix is done, I do what is called a mix down. So we take all those tracks and we turn it into that single stereo file. Now, it's not super loud yet because it hasn't gone to mastering, but I get to keep that mixed file. So that's totally separate. So now I can take that mixed file and I can send it to the mastering engineer, and they'll send me back a mastered file. So now I have two files. I have the mix file and I have the mastering file. So there's a couple reasons why this is really beneficial. The first reason being, let's say your track is really, truly amazing. I mean, it is so good. Maybe you get some sort of record deal or people want to start working with you and they say, hey, why don't you give me your track, give me your mix, and we'll go ahead and master it at a huge mastering studio just to make the track sound even better, so it can compete with some of the tracks that are already on the radio or, very popular. So if you went ahead and essentially did the mastering process in mixing, you only have that one file. So let's say for whatever reason you had to delete that project or it accidentally got deleted. So now we have this problem of your track maybe is overmastered, or it's not loud enough, or maybe you kind of screwed things up in mastering, because it is kind of easy to over compress or over EQ when it comes to mastering. So now you got this problem, you can't go back and take off those plugins or whatever you use to make the track really loud, and you're just kind of stuck with this one mastered file. So the benefits of having that separate mix and that separate master is at any point you could try out another mastering studio to master your mix. If maybe you decided you have some more money to spend on a master or whatever it may be, it's just a really great way to deal with your music, and really it's just a really professional way of doing it. So another reason for not mastering when you're mixing is it's really nice to kind of have these two processes. So, let's say you mix your track for, a month, a week, whatever it is, and you spend so much time critically listening and trying to make sure it's perfect. When you are done with that mix, it's really nice to just be able to take that mix and bounce it down to that stereo file and start thinking about your track as a finished product instead of thinking about it as, gosh, should I raise that vocal 1 decibel or decrease the reverb? It's really mentally rewarding to have that finished mix. And now we take that finished mix, and even if you're going to master the track yourself, it's just really nice to have that stereo file that you can go ahead and master. I think it's really relieving to think about it as, okay, it is done. Now I can master it, and it seems to be like a better process. For me, I never mix and master on the same day, so I like to take my mix, I do the mix down into that stereo file. The next day, the following week, I will go ahead and master it. I'm not thinking about the different levels that I gotta adjust, or I could adjust, or should I have adjusted. The track is done, I've decided it's done, and now I can go ahead and master it. So guys, I hope this helps clear up some of the misconceptions between what is mixing and what is mastering. So not only do I make YouTube videos, but I also run this studio, True Sound Studios, full-time. This is my one and only job. So a huge part of this job is to mix and master tracks. So if you want True Sound Studios to mix and master your track, go ahead and email True Sound Studios. The email is in the description of this video. So the genres of music that I not only mix and master, but also produce and record are predominantly hip hop, EDM, pop, or mainstream music, and then anything rock or heavy rock or pop punk, any full band recordings. Those are the typical genres that I work with here at True Sound Studios, but I am always open for new genres. So if you guys do have any other further questions, please feel free to leave a comment below this video or go ahead and just directly email me. So thank you for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, click that like button and consider subscribing for more content. So not only do I make YouTube videos, but I also produce tracks and I can mix and master your music. So once again, thank you for watching this video. I'm Weezna and True Sound Studios is in your ears.